y'all. See, this is what happens when you don't try to pay somebody. You leave their truck in the no parking zone and you pack your motherfucking bag and you hit the motherfucking Amtrak. You understand me? You get the fuck on. You know what I'm saying? You don't wait around. You want to not pay money? Then guess what? I got something for your bitch ass. You'll be paying way more than what you were supposed to pay me. So congratulations. Find your truck. And I'm gone.
We are in a trucking recession, right? This article, they say that you probably have been feeling it in your deadhead miles, right? You've been feeling it when it comes to you negotiating for rates, and you really have just been taking whatever because you need to pay your bills, right? So they are saying here in this article that we got to really start to look at the numbers.
Right now, truckers across the country are reporting a really disturbing trend. The hours are being cut, like I said, the loads are disappearing, and the freight rates are dropping. And it's not just rumors. Major ports like in Seattle and Los Angeles are seeing a noticeable slowdown. Containers are sitting or they're simply not arriving. And it's a direct result of what's going on with the trade war and new tariffs.
The PSA for all my truckers out there, man. If you're not running food, fuel, and energy, or electrical equipment to keep this power line going, bro, get out of those contracts. They're gonna get shut down. Get out.
A lot of people be asking me, does it gonna get fixed? Is it gonna get better? I have no fucking clue what is gonna happen because day by day it's getting worse and worse. I have no clue. I haven't seen trucking industry like this in the past 10 years.
Trucking has completely went flat bottom, man. I can honestly tell you these past 3 weeks, it's getting bad.
Well, as a lot of you guys already know, I do have the truck tentatively sold on Monday. I mean, it's not over till it's over, but it's almost sold. I've got a deposit. I'm going to meet the guy on Monday. I'm going to give him the keys. We're going to get the bill of sale done, and I'm going to be out of the trucking game.
So trucking is down right now. I'm talking about levels that we haven't seen since the pandemic. Now, the reason for this all of a sudden is all because of Trump's tariffs. They created a market of uncertainty, and as a result, folks just aren't shipping stuff here, and that hurts truckers. Now, I just want to remind you that Republicans can stop any of this whenever they want, because Congress has the ability to take Trump's tariffs power away from him, so we all can come together to axe the Trump tax. But because they're too afraid of him, they won't do it. So truckers are getting screwed because Republicans are too weak to stand up to Donald Trump. Shameful.
So the truck drivers are quitting en masse due to the tariffs and what's not going to be coming into the United States anymore.
Truckers unite now. Breaking news. Breaking news. Check this one out. Kenya just signed a labor mobility pact with Nebraska to supply truck drivers for America's truck driver shortage, which we all know there is no truck driver shortage. There's a retention problem.
Hello everybody. Truckers for Trump voted to bring back jobs home, but guess whose rigs are now parked empty? Their routes have dried out, the businesses are crumbling, a lot of them are quitting, and those tariffs that they hoped will bring prosperity are now the reason why their loads are vanished. Well, empty ports mean that there is no load anymore. Companies and shipping companies and big retail stores like Walmart are actually going down on cost because Americans are not buying as they used to. Well, there's only one word for that: F around and find out. This is exactly what you get when you vote against your best interest, when you vote for policies that you do not understand how they work or how they benefit you or how they don't benefit you, but you go ahead and vote for emotions, go ahead and vote for hatred and racism. It's exactly what you get. And truckers for Trump, man, they're in tears. They're breaking down emotionally because they cannot handle the economy anymore. Trucking is no longer the dream job like it used to be. I'm your presenter, Joel Mogisha. Let's take a look at these videos that I have compiled for you. I'll be back with more commentary after this.
Right now, truckers across the country are reporting a really disturbing trend. The hours are being cut, like I said, the loads are disappearing, and the freight rates are dropping. And it's not just rumors. Major ports like in Seattle and Los Angeles are seeing a noticeable slowdown. Containers are sitting or they're simply not arriving. And it's a direct result of what's going on with the trade war and new tariffs. And when truckers aren't working, it's not just about them. It means that there's going to be less food, less fuel, and fewer essentials are going to be moved around the country for you and I. And what most people don't get as well is that truckers are really the heartbeat of the American economy. If the shelves are stocked, it's because a trucker typically got it there. If your fridge is full, Thank a truck driver. This is how food shortages can sneak up on a nation, not just through a sudden catastrophe, but through a slowdown of logistics, a breakdown of it that people usually don't choose to pay much attention to. If ports are empty and truckers are idle, the freight is drying up, you need to ask yourself, how long before your local store starts cutting back as well? What happens when the restocks take longer and when items disappear without warning? This is how it starts, and it's already in motion. You can see it going on everywhere. When you turn on the news, people are talking about it everywhere. Your friends and family might be starting to say something. You might be seeing it in the stores already, and it's supposed to get worse in the very coming weeks. In fact, before the end of May, most people will be seeing this take place at a store near you. For me and my family, we always try and stay prepared ahead of time. So we don't wait for the next disaster to take place before we start preparing for things that may come down the pipeline eventually. We stock up on things that we need. Have you heard of the saying, beans, bullets, and band-aids? So things like that, keep that in mind. But you really want to make sure that you have your essentials covered, and you don't just wait until everybody in the world is out there panic buying at the grocery store or other places. You want to be ahead of the curve and do that beforehand. And even if you only have a couple dollars, you can still go out and get something. So don't let the fact of maybe not having a whole lot of money stop you from being proactive. You don't need a lot of money to start working on preparedness. Also, start paying attention to the patterns going on in your local area. Check what's going on in your stores. See if they're starting to miss certain items, if quantities are shrinking, if the delivery schedules are changing, and if you see a downgrade in the quality as well. So pay attention. Truckers are not just giving this warning for no reason. And again, it's not just about freight, it's about the fragility of our system that we all rely on. So remember, now's the time to be smart, get prepared, and stay under the radar when you do. Have more of the gray man approach and don't just be caught hoarding all these items at the very last minute. I hope this video has been helpful to you. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Take care.
Lawsuits have been filed against Donald Trump and his administration due to the tariffs, tit for tat, back and forth with these other countries. Obviously, it's all over the news. But unfortunately, economic-wise, forecasted, obviously, we're in a recession. It's crippling, but it's crippling faster than people expected, right? I'm a truck driver. I can attest to this, right? Now, these states that have filed these complaints obviously has something to do with the ports, meaning where foreign products come in, domestic products go out, nothing's coming in, nothing's coming out due to the taxes, the tariffs, tit for tat with Donald Trump. So if this does not get resolved quickly, Donald Trump, I'll fuck with you hard. Obviously, I'm not going to agree with everything you say or do, but I do fuck with you, you know what I'm saying? Big shout out to you. I don't know if you're going to see this video, but solutions have to be made. Compromises have to be made. It's a sad reality is we rely on foreign products, and just the reality of life. This has been decades upon decades upon decades. I understand what you're trying to do, but in reality, it doesn't work. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're going to have these manufacturers bringing these manufacturing jobs back in here, you're going to put robots as on the assembly lines, because at the end of the day, you're not going to put an average blue collar in a factory working pennies on a dollar. The average person in the United States, as of 2025, needs no less than $5,000. That's no less. So bringing back manufacturing in the United States, a human being will not be able to work in these factories due to the pay. You know what I'm saying? So let's keep it real. Let's nip this in the buttocks. You know what I'm saying?
So this is my parking spot receipt, and I have maybe 4 of them more. You guys probably wondering that why I'm showing you this receipt. Because since Friday, I'm sitting at this truck stop, and you're not gonna believe that this Labor Day really got me, Friday, I was going to pick up a load. Then what happened? My load got canceled literally at 2 o'clock once I reached the pickup. After that, till today, it's Tuesday, 1 o'clock, and still I haven't got any load yet. Okay, I understand that because of the Labor's Day, everything was closed and the market was, nobody was really working. I can understand that. But it's Tuesday. So since 8 o'clock in the morning, me, my dispatcher, and a whole team is looking the load for me. And you're not gonna believe there's not even a single load in the market. On the top of that, I'm just sitting here paying for the parking spots because not even a single truck is leaving. This truck is a big, huge truck stop, and not even a single person is leaving. All the reserved spots are half of them are empty, but regular free parking, every single spot is taken. I've been looking for every single spot, but I can park somewhere where I don't have to pay for it. So since the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4 days, I literally paid already $100, and probably I'm about to stay here tonight also. So there's another fucking $25. I don't even know what the fuck is going on with this trucking market. You know, sometimes there's like reefer loads, sometimes there's like, you know, some shitty loads. Not even a single load is popping up. And all these trucks drivers, would you sitting here looking at each other's face, be like, yo, this guy was here last night too. Oh shit, this guy's still here. Fuck, man, he's dead. Fucking dead. My dispatcher just offered me a load, $1,200, and he's going 900 miles. But like, how the fuck am I gonna pick up this load? Not even a 150 per mile. What the fuck, man? So drop your comments. So drop your opinion in the comment section. That how you guys doing so far? How is the market for you guys? Because for me, it's not doing so well.
$100 million trucking company is closing its doors, and not only are they closing their doors, and they're basically selling off everything, but they're in debt. Do you know how monumental that is for a $100,000 company that's been running for 71 years to suddenly have to close their doors? Do you understand the magnitude of that? Trucking has been a horrible industry to be in, probably for the since COVID. And I'm going to tell you why. It got oversaturated with a bunch of box truck drivers, with a bunch of people taking cheap freight. And that is an industry that is completely dependent upon everybody to make it work. Dispatchers, drivers, insurance companies, brokers, shippers, manufacturers, all of those pieces working together is what make trucking. And when you have a breakdown with any one of them, everything will crumble. My husband and I left our full-time careers to start trucking companies back in 2020, and it was a lesson learned, but it was a situation where if we didn't get out, we would have lost everything, right? And by the time it was over with, we were down to nothing. So to see $100 million company go to nothing, this family business that was supposed to be in the family for generations to come is now closing its doors. That's just a testament of how if one thing fails, it can crush everything. Everything can be over in the blink of an eye.
I picked up a truck driver yesterday here in the Fort Lauderdale metro area from one of the truck stops where they park their trucks, and actually took him home. And so I always talk to all of my riders normally, and so I'm asking him about how's the trucking business, how is it looking, what's going on. And he said it's getting scary, that he was already having trouble booking rides that he normally would do to loads to take from the Miami, Fort Lauderdale area to other parts of the country. Two large ports here. The Port of Miami is super large. Port Everglades, which is Fort Lauderdale, is smaller on the cargo, but still it's a large port when it comes to cargo. And he's saying that he's having trouble picking up loads out of the ports to take to other parts of the country from here. And I said, well, what's going on? And he says, well, it's got to be the tariffs, and that they are importing, receiving fewer containers, fewer goods in the ports, and it is trickling down to the truckers, which means there's less business for the truckers. And so for all of my truckers out there, I'm interested to hear what you're seeing. I'm interested to hear what you're experiencing right now. And, you know, I won't ask who you voted for, but I can guess, you know, you vote however you want to vote. But I'm sure this is not something that you voted for. You did not expect a trade war that would impact your trucking business and you to be able to have business to be able to feed yourself and your family. But it is impacting you. This is going to impact the amount of goods that we're going to see in stores. It's going to impact stores' abilities to sell, which is going to impact the number of people they're going to need to keep as employees in those stores or the hours that you have. Expect further cuts as this continues to start trickling down through all of the economy in the United States, and it's going to slow things down. Expect for those things we do see in the stores, so those prices to go up. So expect inflation to go up, expect job losses to increase, expect fewer hours if you don't lose your job, and those in the trucking business are becoming concerned that they aren't going to have adequate business that they need to do to pay their bills, to pay their truck fees, their loans, whatever they've got. Those trucks aren't cheap to run and or to buy or to purchase. and it's trickling through everywhere. So just another little antidote. And, and if you read, I read another article today in the LA Times, truckers are desperate in Los Angeles because the same thing, the port of Los Angeles is slowing down and business is hard to find. So thank you, Donald Trump, for crashing the economy. And it's coming. This crash is coming. You can say, I'm just scaremongering or whatever. Watch what happens. Watch how it slows down. Donald Trump brought us into a recession before. Donald Trump is bringing us to a recession now. And he goes, oh, it'll be okay. We'll be great later. Donald Trump, you don't suffer like the rest of us. You don't live week to week or month to month, paycheck to paycheck, where people need to make a certain income to pay their bills. You just file bankruptcy and don't pay others. There you have it. Love to hear from my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my cuckoos, and my burned out light bulbs. What do you all think? And if you're a trucker, love to hear your experience and what you see and what you think is going to happen right now.
Guys, tell me why I just looked on TikTok like for the first time today, and all I see on my For You page is the President of the United States answering questions about, do he think that the tariffs on China was a good idea based on the fact that the ports are literally running empty and truck drivers are losing their jobs. Donald Trump answered the question without hesitation this time. I know sometimes Trump, he won't just come right out and answer the question. He answered the question this time. He said it's okay. He said it's okay. He's basically saying that it's okay for the ports to run empty like they are. He's also saying that it's okay for the truck drivers to lose their jobs because more money is coming into the U.S. with the tariffs. Now, I will say this. That is correct. There's more money coming into the U.S. with the tariffs, but at what cost? Thousands of truck drivers losing their jobs. Now, I just witnessed this firsthand about truck drivers. I'm coming up the highway just now before I started this TikTok, picking my little ones up from school, and I see semis on the highway, but not as aggressive as I'm usually seeing them on the highway, which means a lot of these truck drivers are starting to get laid off and starting to lose their jobs, man, because it looks like the money that's being pulled into the United States from the tariffs, it's going to bring more money to the U.S., but it's not bringing any jobs to the U.S. So let me know what you guys think of this right here. Like, he said it right out of his own mouth. I mean, I watched the clips to make sure that it wasn't edited, it wasn't jump cuts, it wasn't chopped. It was original content straight from the president. He said that he's okay with the ports being the way that they are and truck drivers losing their jobs because more money is coming to the U.S. I would normally try to stitch his video into my video, but y'all know TikTok is changing the rules where it has to be your own original content. So on my TikTok, I try not to do that. But let me know what you guys think of that, man. That's crazy because some of these truck drivers that's been affected could be a loved one of yours, a husband, a dad, granddad, a close relative, brother or sister. So it's gonna get real. I mean, this is just the beginning, and Trump's not letting up either. That's the wild thing. He's not letting up.
Well, I don't know if you don't know, I'm a truck driver, right? Owner-operator. And unfortunately for a while now, how can I say it? A trucking recession. Truck drivers are falling like dominoes, giving up on the business. Today was an unusual day. A few of my friends, they post their trucks on Marketplace. They just want to get rid of it. They just want to move on. They're not too many people are looking at, in general, nobody wants to buy. So, like I said, today was a little unusual. A few of the guys called me up and said, why don't you take the trucks and give us a few dollars and pay us the rest in payments? And I was telling them, like, what you're going through, I'm going through the same way. So if I was to take the trucks, I'm going to park them and they're going to be like table ornaments. They're going to gather rust. You can't afford to hire no drivers because it's not worth it. That's number one. There is no work. When is this going to end? I have no idea. This trucking recession, I guess we're going to call it. I don't know. And the few guys that are doing okay, the only reason they're doing okay is they're doing Amazon Relay. If you don't know what Amazon Relay is, it's like an app where you pick certain moves that you want to do. And the only good moves on that app are called crosstowns, intermodal work. That's the only thing that's moving these guys around right now. Other than that, It's just pathetic. When is it gonna end? I don't know. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I done got most of it, almost all of them. I only got a few left. And I'm on one and another guy's on one. We're not even doing any good. Today, for example, came out, did a box, waiting on something else to come in, nothing else come in. What about tomorrow? It's not looking good either tomorrow. So I don't blame anybody that leaves the business right now because it's not worth it. You would think that the only business that wouldn't go down is trucking, because if you all know, I mean, everything in the stores and wherever you go, it comes from a delivery guy, driver that delivers shit. But unfortunately, that's not the case no more. God help us all, man. Peace out.
Alright guys, there you have it. Actually, trucking used to be the backbone of the American supply chain. 72% of the US freight moves actually on trucks every time. But in 2025, instead of recovering, the industry is buckling. Freight volume are falling, rates are stuck near rock bottom, and small owner operators, the folks who actually voted hardest for jobs to come back to the United States, to American soil, are the ones actually going under. This is exactly what's happening to people who went ahead and casted the vote at the ballot box that was against the best interest, who actually wanted other people to be affected by policies they never expected to affect them in return. Well, a lot of truckers are quitting and looking elsewhere for greener pastures. Trucking is no longer the dream job like it used to be, and this is all because of the trade war and the tariffs. Now, of all the people that actually would have supported the Orange Man tariffs, I would actually imagine that truckers would be the least to be impressed or to be focusing on that, because if you look at it as a businessman, you ought to understand how certain policies, certain climates, business climates and political climates actually affect your business. And as a businessman, you ought to actually look for the best interest of your business as your first priority. Yeah, I guess not all people are the same, because when people actually have emotional interests that are too deep within them, they overlook their business interest. And this is exactly what happens to a lot of MAGA truckers who went ahead and voted for the Orange Man, thinking that his policies were never going to affect them. They thought that the Orange Man was going to deport a lot of illegal immigrants, because we all know that the Latino community, a lot of illegal immigrants actually are working in the trucking industry, and they don't actually, speak good English. And MAGA truckers thought that, yeah, let's kick them out of the United States so that these jobs can come back to us. But this is exactly what you get, especially when you vote for others to be affected, others to be hurt, just accept you. And now, if you're being honest, yes, deportation policies might have affected, Latino workers, but yeah, tariff policies took care of y'all, because empty ports, man, ports are running dry, empty, because there is no shipment coming from China because of the trade policies that are not in good condition right now with the United States and the tariff war. Now, as a result of that, if the ports are empty, that means that there is no load for them truckers to actually take to the warehouses. If there is no load to take to the warehouses are empty, and there is no load to take from the warehouses to retail giants and retail stores like Walmart, Costco, and Target. If there is no load between there, truckers again lose freight loads. And what is the result of that? That means that there is no trucker who is willing to be on the road and to run a small owner operator without any freights and without actually being profitable and burning just gas without anything. So a lot of them are resulting to quitting and looking elsewhere for greener pastures. Exactly what Americans were saying, we told you so. You F around, you find out. At some point, when you actually stab someone in the back, you expect karma to actually take care of you. This is what's happening. I don't know what you think about today's episode. I'm your presenter, Joel Mugisha. If you're new, kindly consider subscribing. Hit that like button. See you on the next episode.